Today's date is May 31st, 2020, and we are in Fostoria, Ohio, heading to the Iron Triangle Rail Park. Before we get there, however, we see this. An oversized load which appears to be an underground tank on an articulated trailer. And if anyone knows more about this, please let me know in the comments below. Just as a disclaimer, I was supposed to go to a meetup with the Central Ohio Railfanning Group, but bad weather caused me to not be able to make it, so this is kind of a make-up for that. Anyways, let's get back to your regularly scheduled program, shall we? After some time of waiting since our arrival of our friends and ourselves, our first train comes into view, which is an intermodal train heading westbound on the CSX Willard subdivision. Now you may be wondering, why was there only one locomotive at the front of the train when there's usually more? Well, the answer soon becomes clear right here. There was a mid-train DPU on this train. Our next train, which was also on the Willard subdivision, was also an intermodal train, this time heading eastbound. Now you may have heard me panting in the shot, but that's just because from how far we parked was pretty far from the Willard subdivision, and when this train was coming we had to sprint to get to see it. Like the previous intermodal train that came through before this one, this intermodal train also had a mid-train DPU on it as well. the train, we see a few exterior transport trailers on spine cars. I've never heard of this company before, so I'm assuming it's pretty new. I'm not sure about you guys, but if anyone knows, please let me know in the comments section below. I had too much rail fan in me to dare interrupt the horn from this guy on the local, both at the time of recording this clip and in the narration. But I digress. Anyways, the next train we saw was an eastbound local in the Norfolk Southern Fostoria district, being led by an XBN SD40-2, specifically number 3481. This locomotive, in my opinion, had a really crazy horn. It sounded sick, and when I say sick, I mean it sounded good, but it also sounded pretty bad as well. Anyways, let's move on to the next train, shall we? After a short time of waiting after the local made its way through and after eating a little bit of my lunch, CSX comes back into the picture with a trash train making its way from the C&O to the B&O. Unfortunately though, in this clip, the trees obscured my shot, so yeah. This was not a pretty good shot, in my opinion, because the trees were in the way. The locomotive that was leading the trash train from the C&O to the B&O eventually made its way back onto the C&O. And this time, since he was heading backwards, we got a much better look at him. After the locomotive of the trash train made its way back onto the C&O, we now see the headlights of an approaching Norfolk Southern westbound train. But unfortunately, he couldn't cross the diamond yet. But let's see why he couldn't cross the diamond yet. locomotive that led the trash train would later come back again, this time heading west onto the Willard subdivision after grabbing another cut of trash cars and an ET-44AH. I would later find out this train was switching to landfill that was a couple of miles away from this rail park. I didn't really need any more footage of the trash train, but since he was backing up, and since we were waiting for the Norfolk Southern to move, and since you don't typically see an ET-44AH paired up with a GP-40-2, I figured why not. So here's another shot of the trash train as it made its way back onto the C&O line. Before we left for the day, we didn't get a chance to leave because CSX finally gave clearance to the Norfolk Southern train as it made its way west on the Fostoria district. I'm sorry for the shoddy camera work, but it's just kind of hard to get a good shot of it handheld. I do have a tripod, but it's broken right now, so I need to get it fixed. So as of right now, I have to do it handheld. Besides the SD-70 ACU leading the train, some of the cars on the train were of interest. As you see before it passes me here, there were several gondolas carrying some large pipes in them. Several pairs of auto racks on the train. I always find this interesting during this time because the COVID-19 pandemic has pretty much slammed the automotive industry to a halt, so it's kind of nice to see auto racks still in use. There was even a car that was carrying a full track switch on it as well. As you saw that just past me, there were some heavily weathered former Chicago Northwestern grain hoppers on the train as well as a gondola carrying an interesting load, and also a former Sioux Line hopper that's passing me right now, as well as a couple of other interesting railroad cars, and some other cars carrying some interesting loads that I will not explain right now, as the end of the train passes me here. After the manifest train cleared the diamond here at the Fostoria Iron Triangle Rail Park, this will now conclude yet another video. Even though nothing too special came through, at least we got to see a couple of interesting trains here on this day. Make sure to hit the like button down below, leave a comment and tell me what you think of it, subscribe to my channel, and tap the bell button to be notified when I get a new video out. Also subscribe to my friend OhioTrainVlogs because he was here with me during this whole trip. Also, stay safe from COVID-19, everyone. Keep good hygiene, and have a nice day.